This is our first interview with an LSBU alum volunteer for our Volunteer Week interviews. So as a organisation, LSBU Alumni acts as the lasting connection to the university. Our alumni are examples of what success looks like, overcoming barriers, creating opportunities, and smashing glass ceilings along the way. We believe it's what you do that matters. So we are celebrating and asking some of our amazing alumni volunteers why it's important to them to give back and use their time in such an inspiring and rewarding way. Our volunteers are change makers, they're doers, they take action, they get involved in projects that change communities. Volunteering at LSBU creates a community that thrives with change. My name is Jodie and I'm the Senior Officer in Marketing and Events in the Alumni and Development team.
Hi there, I'm Sally. I'm Senior Officer Volunteering in the Alumni and Development team. And we're joined today by Sean Baldock. Welcome, Sean.
Hello.
So Sean, tell us a little bit about what you studied at LSBU and why you chose that particular course.
I studied Planning, Policy and Practice in the Social Sciences division, basically because it's part of my job. I've been in the planning sort of environment for over 21 years, since the year 2000. And I got to 2016 and I got offered a chance to go to uni. I checked out a few universities, but I felt the South Bank offered a lot more in-depth knowledge base and a lot more wider spectrum. The course was very wide in its different aspects of law, about the history of planning. It was very interesting to read, you know, the spec as to what it was. So it really felt like it was going to be very difficult, and it was very difficult. In fact, it was amazingly tough to hold down a full-time job, 2 kids, and do the course. But 2.5, 3 years later, I passed with a master's degree. So, but the reason why I chose South Bank is because I love London. I'm from London. And when I went there, it was very welcoming. I mean, the staff were great. The teachers were fantastic. And yeah, and some of them my age, going in a classroom with us, people there much younger than me, was a bit concerning. But I overcome that and found that although these other people have got degrees and everything, and they're very academic people in the class, and I wasn't. I haven't got A levels, and I only had very few GCSEs. So my work experience me to be one of the top 10 in the class for at least 4 or 5 of the initial courses in exam. It was quite pleasing to know I knew as much, in fact more than some of the students. So it's quite, I think, and I felt it was a really good fit for me, and really enjoyed my time there.
And Sean, you've very kindly volunteered twice at 2 virtual open days over recent months. And we'd just like to ask, how did that come about? Like, how did you hear about that opportunity?
Through the alumni, because as we know, the top hat and the passing out and graduation was all cancelled. So I tried contacting the university. They sent me my paper top hat and everything, and my badges and everything, and then I just got in touch with the alumni. And so I joined, and then they came up on the advert that they were looking for people. I had the time in the summer, obviously with lockdown, like I mentioned, there was not a lot else to do, but I thought it was really important that maybe I could help if there was any questions. I got 20 years of background in planning. I've got a lot of knowledge, and if anyone wanted anything, I was there. So although I didn't get many questions about real deep planning matters, there were some interesting questions that came up about someone who said he was in his 30s, and he was a bit concerned that he weren't able to go there or go back to uni. He felt a bit almost like scared he was going to go back to uni, and I assured him that I was 46 at the time, 45, 46, and I said no, it was completely welcoming, and as long as you've got the commitment and the passion to get on with doing the course you want to do, I'm sure that you'll get fully supported by the uni. And I think I got a really positive sort of response, I think, on that. I think you probably know because you've got the records. So just to sort of put people's minds at rest if they've got concerns, and just hope they use the university. I think it'd be it's a really good university, and I think if people are worried about anything, that we can allay their fears at that point.
Mm.
So,
how did it feel to be able to offer that comfort to a prospective student? Because I can imagine that there are a lot of mature students who, like yourself, are juggling multiple things in their life, but you were able to provide that person with comfort. How did that make you feel?
it made me feel good, because I come off the call thinking, well, that fellow is going to probably apply for whatever he wants to do at the uni, and he'll end up probably passing out in a year or two's time, and he'll think back and think, well, actually, well, it was pretty good, and like I did, you know. And the feeling of sort of just making someone, it's like what I do at work though, is I do training at work. I help people when they're having problems, and you know, so maybe it's that feeling of like helping someone is it's quite empowering, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's yeah, I felt good in myself to help somebody else, but giving something back is always good. So.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be great, Sally, if we could find that person and then be
Yeah, it
like,
would be
match
amazing.
them and be like, Sean helped you and advise you to come to LSBU, and this is your life kind of thing.
We would love to be able to show that.
And also,
Sorry, Sean, did you say something?
yeah, sorry. Yeah, also, yeah, would be fun, wouldn't it, if you actually found him, and he went on to be successful.
You
really
would have played a part in that.
One.
You would have played a part in that, Sean.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
And I do remember one occasion, I think it was a January open day, there was a lady as well asking about distance learning and the pressures of working while studying. And I remember you were right on it, and you got straight onto the kind of virtual chat booth, and you were advising your experience from your perspective. We've spoken before about how you felt going to uni at kind of a mature age might have been a risk for you, but it's paid off in terms of progression.
Yeah.
And
I didn't get that. Sorry, glitched out. I don't.
That's okay. I was just saying that I remember in the January open day, there was a particular lady that was asking about distance learning and the pressures of working while studying. And you were very well placed to go straight in and give some advice, which I remember in my mind. And she was very, very appreciative about. And I was just going to ask, you've mentioned that it was a risk for you. You felt at the time it was a risk going back into study or studying for the first time at that level, but it's paid off because of your progression. I'm just wondering, do you feel at open days, you feel uniquely placed to kind of offer advice as a mature student, a previous mature student?
The answer to that is yeah, because I've experienced it, and I've got two kids, one 11, one 14. I've got, at the time, my dad was very ill. He's no longer with us, but it was a really tough period. Yeah, to basically, someone's got things juggling with kids and house and paying bills and trying to earn money. I've experienced that, and really the hard way. So I had all that going on in my life, and I was still coming to university after a 3 or 4 days solid work, and going to university and then working at weekends on all the way to 2 in the morning on this stuff, and then getting up in the morning, dropping the kids off to school, and then going to work, and it was like really tiring. But to give that experience back and to ask those questions, that person answer her questions, was to say that it can be done. You just got to put in, you've got to put your mindset in there and get that commitment in there. And if that's what you want out of it, you want to get a degree, then you will get through it. I got through it. So if I can get through it, I'm a prime example of someone who could have failed quite easily in the first year because of all that was going on. I could have easily walked away from it, but I didn't. I carried on. And hopefully I explained it on that chat that you can do this. Yeah. It's all in the mindset, really. It's all in your head. You've got to just get on with doing it. Sorry, does that answer the question?
Of course it does. That's amazing. I just wonder.
I don't do this very often.
No, that's fine. You're doing well. I just wonder, was this your first time volunteering, and have you ever volunteered before, like in a previous job, previous role? Is it something that you've done before?
Well, volunteering, I've done quite a bit, really. I done, I suppose you can count, I ran a football club when I was 25, 26. I was a chairman of a football club. So I volunteered to go into the FA, to go to all the meetings. I've volunteered to run the club itself. I even at one point ran the second team. I used to play as well, but basically used to run manage the teams and stuff like that. So I was volunteering there in a funny way. I'm also a qualified plumber as well, believe it or not, and so I can fix taps and stuff. But I actually volunteered to help with little children's nurseries and old people's homes and doing their repairs for nothing, and looking after their general maintenance in a nursery where I used to live when my kids were really small. So for about 2 years, I was just fixing up everything in their nursery, just volunteering things like that, So I've experienced volunteering in the past, not like this. This is very academic type sort of volunteering, but I hope anything I can bring to the table can help in any way. And it's also having time to do it. But yeah, if I've got time, I don't mind volunteering and just answering people's questions. So.
Well, in that answer, you've just shown how inspirational you are in terms of volunteering throughout kind of your career, your life, your personal life. And I want to throw it back at you a little bit and ask, who inspires you? Like, has there been a role model? What continues to inspire you to do well in life?
Yeah, I read that question. And I was not sure. I don't think I have many people I can say are role models. I just think I'm making myself, how can I say, this was a natural thing to become my own role model for other people, rather than me actually taking it from. What I have done though is I've taken the experiences of all my managers before me and learned from them to become who I am. So I've taken all the bits I feel are good off of the people that I've worked for over the years, and I'm putting that into what I do in a work situation mainly. But no, I feel as though I have no real sort of any one person direct role model. I'm trying to make myself a role model for my kids. And that's really the only answer I've got really on that one.
No, I love that answer, because I was going to bring it back to the why, because you mentioned your time. Like, if you have the time to do it, you do it. And time is precious, and we all have the same amount of hours in a day. But it's, why do you use your time, the spare time that you have, to do so many different things? Like you said, you run a football club, you're a trained plumber, so you can fix taps, working with children. That's such a vast, volunteering experience. So I guess, like you said, you want to be role models for your children. And is that really the core of your why you do what you do?
Yeah, and they're difficult. And hopefully they'll appreciate me one day. I don't know if anyone's got kids, but it's it's tough. But yeah, I mean, I just want to sort of make them, how can I say, make myself as good as I can be in a work environment, obviously in a home environment and everything else, and show them, that I mean, I don't do the football club thing anymore, and I do plumbing occasionally to help my neighbours out who had a leak the other day. I was running around his loft fixing a water leak. So I do, I didn't charge him or anything either. But those, I just try to show my kids what they can be, and I try and teach them as best I can. I mean, I'm even teaching my son because he wants to be an architect, because I've inspired him to want to become an architect, because I've shown him all the high density, low density sort of urban design planning, because I had all the books around kicking around, and he's going, oh wow, because he's got a computer game, he uses it, and he knows all about high density, low density, and how to shape a city and all that sort of thing. And they got him inspired to sort of start now studying, because he's in year 9 at school. He's starting to study geography, physics, and all the rest, and he wants to become an architect. So Yeah, I don't know if that answers the question as such, but that's kind of that's kind of it, really, I think.
No, it does. It's great. I was going to ask you as well, how important is it for you to see the impact of your volunteering and your time? Is that something you can do?
I won't see, I mean, when I'm volunteering for the LSBU, I won't see the impact, because like, these people are not known to me. They are just, you know, people online who will ask random questions about, is it too long? Would it take me too long to get in and out of London and all the rest, you know, those sort of questions. But I wouldn't be able to see what the fruits of that would bring. I think it would be the university that would see that if that person signed up, you know, or whatever. So it's a difficult question, that one. But with regards to volunteering in that aspect, I don't think I'd see the fruits of my labour. But you know, hopefully, anything I could do, you will see them as a university. So those people will come to you and use the university.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering because sometimes people are very much driven by being able to see the impact. Like they won't do something unless they can see the results of it. But like you say, you can't, but you still choose to do it anyway. So that's fine.
Yeah, and it's just that person feels comfortable now coming to the university because he knows 48-year-olds go there and are quite successful. You know, and I've proven to myself, I think, being a bit greedy there, that I can, the university and what they taught me, as like Sally mentioned, has took me to a new level of my job, and that is really amazing because I never thought I'd be able to do that, and it's only because of the university study that has brought me to that next level. So it's really important to understand that the university has made me so much better. I've gone from being a GCSE student to a level 7 master's student, literally within 2 years. So yeah, it's a big thing, passing.
And I guess one of the last questions is, what kind of volunteering would you like to do at LSBU? What would be your perfect opportunity to get involved in?
I wouldn't mind, and I will say this quite openly because this is true. I stood up one of the classes and taught a lesson in my final year about planning law and about various aspects of planning law in section 171 of the Planning Act, which is a lot of people obviously didn't know, and I'm quite experienced doing it at work. And I'd actually done a presentation during a lesson, a good hour, teaching people and asking Q's and A's about the detailed elements of planning law and 171. And yeah, so realistically volunteering, I don't mind dropping in as and when I've got time to the university in the future. I would love to become a lecturer eventually. If chance ever came about, I'd probably take a punt at doing a couple of sessions here and there for free, and then see where it lead me, you know. But yeah, I mean, I would love to volunteer in giving my knowledge back, and I think that's what teachers do. Teachers do that. That's maybe why I'm thinking maybe I want to be a lecturer in the future, because I like giving back that information to people that are things that I've learned, and we're all learning still, but the stuff I've already learned, I can give that back to students. Hopefully that answers that sort of question. Sorry.
Yeah, that was brilliant. And we do have guest speaking opportunities to speak in front of students, and that can be about, you know, soft skills development, how to be employable, but it can also be about imparting knowledge about industry trends or different things within the sector. So we can certainly pick up that conversation. But just to to close this really, really great interview, I've had a really good morning talking to you, and I'm sure Jodie has as well. We just want to thank you for joining us today, for taking the time, but also allowing us to fully recognise you as a kind of a champion volunteer who have given back in a really difficult year as well for prospective students. And I just wanted to end with, if I may, a little kind of bit of feedback from me and the Open Day team about you in particular, Sean, as a volunteer. So this is some of the feedback that we've collated from the Open Day team, including myself. Sean gives great advice on previous Open Days, is a warm, approachable personality, giving your experience of working and studying in distance learning, full of great advice for prospective students, giving tangible real-world advice on working. At Open Days, prospective students responded well to Sean as a true role model with a great passion to give back and to help others.
And that was feedback from the...
That was from feedback from our team, so me and other colleagues who have worked closely with you, seeing you volunteer on Open Days, and that's some feedback that we pulled together just to kind of share with you. That's
really nice. Yeah. That's really nice. And yeah, one of the teachers was online. I was working with one of the teachers one day. I can't think of his name now, but yeah, it was really nice to just even chat with him, you know, because we shared experiences over the last few years, various reasons. I can't go into detail, but yeah, it's a very nice feedback. Thank you. Yeah, it's humbling, really. But again, it's just all I do it for is the satisfaction of just helping anyone that's got a problem. And in fact, I think if more questions were asked about more specific detail in the planning side of you know, these events, then I can go into more detail and perhaps help a bit more. I mean, I was hoping that people ask questions, what is your course about, and all the rest of it, like some of the other groups that I was looking at. We were asking what's the content, how good is it, etc. But they didn't do that in the planning. So I was jumping into other conversations saying, yeah, it's really good, you know, because I know that in my experience from my planning side, the teaching was really good at the time. So, but yeah, hopefully in the future, if we I do volunteer again, that people do start asking more detailed questions, or maybe I could put that on the group to say, if you've got any real intricate questions about the course or planning in general, let me know, and perhaps just invite that on a bit more, sort of advertise it a bit. But no, thanks for the feedback. It's very nice.
Thank you so much, Sean. We really appreciated your time today, and thank you for joining us. And we can all of our volunteers change makers, because you do impact the people that you engage with. So thank you so much for being an amazing volunteer, and we look forward to providing you with more amazing opportunities to give back your time to LSBU.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice seeing your faces, and hopefully see you again soon.
Definitely.